she said, if you heard our interview, or if you didn't, you ought to go and talk. Is she said, I don't know if you had any idea what it was going to take to pull this off. And I said, actually, the truth is, I had no idea what it would take. I just knew that it was something that I thought was a good thing, that would be a good thing to do, whether it was the Business Growth Network or now this summit. And, sometimes I think from a business standpoint, and one of the things we've heard from some of the speakers on the summit, the thing I loved about the summit, one of my biggest takeaways, was great minds run on the same track. Because I got to tell you, from Scott's talk to even Jeff's talk with the barter to every conversation, and Jenna would soon
I said it over and over again.
That, hey, I heard that already. I heard this from somebody else. You know what? I've never had, as I say, I think I even said in the video at one point, I've never had an original thought. But my gift has really been to connect the dots with thoughts that somebody may not have connected before. And that's the whole beauty of the summit. There's over 40 hours of content, as I was counting anyway, looking at the link. Some of the videos, I said, some of them went over an hour, and we have 30 plus speakers. So the thing is there, I will tell you now, and I'll remind you at the end, but basically we're going to open it up. I know some people kind of got in kind of late and, or didn't get it. And if you're going at it for the free and not having to sign up for the Business Growth Network, which I would encourage you to do, but if you don't want to do that, all the videos will be accessible tomorrow. There's going to be an encore for tomorrow, so you'll be able to access any one of the videos. So if you hear something, if you're on Facebook Live or you're here in the room, and you say, oh man, I want to make sure I go hear Scott Schilling's talk, which I would tell you, if you pick any of them, that's one of the ones you ought to pick. Because Scott did an awesome job. And
I got lucky. He was the first one.
He was the first one. He was our guinea pig. And I will tell you, and maybe it's because he was the first day, kind of like that I've had a number of people come back and say, Scott's talk was really good. I really got this or I got that. And so, and we'll talk about what we got out of it in a second, in terms of what may or may not have been beneficial to you. And I just realized I'm standing in front of the Mevo unit, so that was really interesting. So, hey, tech isn't my, implementing it. We just do it. So
really?
That's why Jenna's here. She's handling all the tech.
So, she does everything. What do you do?
Nothing. I just dream up things to do.
Kill zombies.
Yeah, kill zombies.
He's the zombie slayer.
So anyway, but with that, I just kind of wanted to give you just a little bit of insight, and I shared this on the video. If you looked at the Take the Leap video, I just wanted to just summarize for you that if you look at the time invested, without even talking about what Scott invested and what Jeff invested, the time that people invested, we've invested in my modest estimation of over $50,000 of time and energy and expenses into pulling off this video or this whole summit. So it wasn't a trivial investment, and we're making it available to the people that are watching this video or anybody that's seen the link for free. You can get access to it, and then after that, we're going to put it in our back office. So there's over 30 speakers. We've covered all the topics from business growth, sales, marketing, personal development. I mean, the thing that's amazing to me, and same thing that I say all along, is what's your best investment in your business, no matter what business you run? It's you. And I would tell you that every speaker, in one way or another, throughout the thing, communicated that value was there. There was all new content. I heard things that I've heard Scott talk a few times. He's visited with us a few times, and I've heard him in other venues as well. And I heard some things you said that I never heard you say before. And I
made him go off topic.
Yeah, well, and that was
not a one-trick pony.
We were actually talking, and Randy did a great presentation. And again, the whole modern barter thing that Jeff talks about is something. If you're in business, you're looking for creative ways to fund and drive and grow your business. There's definitely some interesting things there, as well as a lot of other speakers. So I don't want to monopolize it. What I wanted to do is just kind of give you that kind of backdrop, and then talk about, I've got 2 slides of speakers that have either spoken already for once, just to kind of trigger your thoughts for those that were there. And I'm just going to kind of open it up. I'm going to sit down and let's just kind of talk. I'm not going to, I didn't queue up anybody in particular to talk. So somebody have a nugget that came out of anyone. You know, I talked about making the league.
Why don't you start with the speakers and go around?
Yeah, I mean, okay. So Jeff, you want to share any nuggets that you've taken, or that you hope we took from your presentation, or ones that you've taken from some of the ones you've had the opportunity to see?
Well, I think, I've known Jeff Klein for a number of years, and his presentation on the 30-second commercial has been incredibly valuable to me. I know that in my BNI networking group, I received 51 referrals last year, and that's out of 50 meetings. So I basically walk away with a referral every time. What people miss on doing a 30-second commercial that Jeff goes over in his presentation is the rhythm. It's the order of which you place it. Most people start out with "my name is," and it's really not the best place for your name. So do take an opportunity to watch Jeff Klein's video. I think you'll be able to fire up your commercial for this year and get many more referrals. So.
Okay. Anybody? Scott?
It's just an honor to be part of this. The fun part of this as a presenter is presenting with a whole bunch of other friends. Even though we weren't in the recordings together or things like that, but I've shared the stage with the vast majority of people that were presenters. So it also became very easy to promote to folks in what you don't like Dave said. Hey Susan. One of the things that as a speaker, we're not typically one-trick ponies, and some of these things give us an opportunity to talk about things that we don't talk about most of the time. And so as we were talking about, because as we were setting up, to pull the curtain back, as we're setting up the summit to begin with, it's from my side as a speaker, it's what does the audience need to hear? It really doesn't have anything to do with what I want to say. It has to do with what they want to hear. And so as these guys need to be congratulated for the effort, and the $50,000 invested that's stupid. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And not 100. It's more than that. If you look at the talent, the collective talent of who was in this summit, and the fact that collective talent was available to you for free, anybody who doesn't take this and devour it is just purely missing an opportunity, because there's phenomenal talent in here across the board, and it was just an absolute honor and a blast to be able to present. And quite frankly, some of us more mature, that's code word for old, some of us more mature folks are understanding that what we used to do isn't what we want to do or are going to do. And so it gave me the opportunity, quite frankly, to do something that I'm really passionate about, and that's talking about living our legacy, not leaving our legacy. Legacy shouldn't be defined as what we accumulate to leave once we pass. Legacy should be what we're known for as we live. And again, how we get there, typically everybody gets there at some point in their life, and how we get there is typically different. But the fact of the matter is, I had an opportunity, as we talked again, I'm a sales guy, I'm a marketing guy, I'm a business growth guy, I'm an entrepreneurial guy. I've been very blessed to do all sorts of different things, but as we talked about this, especially with Jenna and Dave and I, it was, let's go more strategy. Well, to me, living your legacy is strategic. It's being known for something of value and of worth that we can contribute back to each and every one of you. It's one of the reasons why, again, I thank you for allowing me to be part of this. It's an honor to do this, But the other side of it is, part of it was Jenna and I were going back and forth. She goes, "I love that video you made." I said, "Well, I can hook you up. I'm a pretty good marketer," you know. She goes, "Well, I don't know where we'd meet." I said, "Well, are you going to be like at the group? I'll meet you there, right?" And so part of this is, if you really understand a desire to contribute and give back. I've been very fortunate I have written checks to 19 separate mentors in my career. Now, the only reason I share that is, as Dave said, the very best place you can empty your wallet is in your head. The IRS can't take it away from you. You don't lose it in a divorce. It doesn't matter what party you're part of. You still have your knowledge. Nobody can ever take that from you. So if you would take the time to invest in these presentations and really do what you can to digest them and really come up with questions. Like for me, I know that I said my email is pretty complex. It's scott@scottschilling.com. You know, I try to hide. Right? So the point is, if there's something, and I would even make this offer to you, if there's something that during my presentation either triggers something in you or causes a question, please email me about it. I'll get back to you on it. But I would also make the offer, if there's anything that anybody else said that triggers a question, ask me. I've been very fortunate. Again, I've got a great friend that just showed up that's part of this summit, Susan Hamilton. She's fabulous. But I know her pretty well.
Yeah.
And so the fact of the matter is I can kind of answer, or I understand why she said what she said. For the most part, right? I mean, I don't know that anybody ever understands. So, no. But you know what I'm saying? The fact is, and sorry, this isn't, I don't know if this is what you wanted me to say or not, but
I didn't script it. So.
No, I know, nor do I. I just kind of go with the flow of the presence. This is a phenomenally valuable summit. There is some real talent and some real expertise that has been revealed, and some real insider knowledge. The one thing that's fun about doing these is you kind of let down your guard as a trainer, and you don't sit there and try to, not that people try to be all high and mighty, but sometimes they do. But
Sometimes they do.
I mean, that's not who I am, but I'm saying.
Not you.
No, but the fact of the matter is, Jenna and I have we become friends? Well, no, I mean, I just wanted to check. I wanted to verify.
Just tell me a friend.
But we truly.
Pick you up at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I need one of those. But the fact of the matter is, truly, we have become that level of friends through this. Because prior, I knew Dave, but I really didn't know Jeff. And we've had some amazing conversations since. So again,
I think ours went 2.5 hours, almost 3. You broke my computer with the film.
no, I think we talked that long. That wasn't the design of the. But that's the point. Is, do you understand when you're there to be of service, and you kind of just release that to the potential audience? That's what shows up. So again, I mean, I really encourage you to take advantage of this, because there's huge value, but it's like anything else. There's zero value if you don't take advantage of it.
Yeah, one of the things that Scott, I'll say, my biggest takeaway from your talk was, and I'm actually doing a talk for estate planners, and so part of it is I'm trying, you know, and whenever you're doing a talk for an audience, even though you have kind of your core, and he said a legacy is not something you leave for people, it's what you leave in people. And to me, that was, I knew that, but it was such a powerful nugget, a thing to realize that no matter who we are, as we go through this life, through this networking group, through our interactions, our legacy is always with us. and we leave, it's not what we accumulate and leave behind, but in fact what we've left in the people that God has put in our path, that come in our path as we go, right? And to me, that was worth all the effort.
Everything
right?
you paid?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Everything I paid you and beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Susan, why don't you,
Yeah.
Susan, since you popped in, you want to give us
Nuggets.
nuggets? We're just doing nuggets from the thing. You're on the first page, so but you can say from yours or from any others that you've heard.
Yeah, I thought the conversational nature of it, which that's my thing anyway. I think we all learn when we listen to other people talk. That we can say something. Presentations are great, but when you get in a conversational manner, you get to really pick up on some things that maybe you wouldn't pick up on before. And one of the things that I posted in the group about it was the Facebook Live thing. It got me off my butt to start it. One of the things you'll learn as your associate.
Is that Trasters?
Yeah, yeah. It's the
Yeah,
Tracers.
and he did have a strong
Well,
case for.
and Janet, between them talking about it.
Two marketers, we know each other way too well.
Let me tell you something. A light bulb went on, and I thought, because I'm not likely to do what everybody else is doing. I just don't believe that's a good approach. If everybody's doing one thing, I tend to go, yeah, well, else can we do it? And so I don't want to ever get stuck in something that everyone else is doing, because that's a great way to lose fast and waste a lot of time in the process. So when everybody, I see all these faces popping up with Facebook Live, I could give a rat's butt. I don't really care anything about all that and seeing it all, and I certainly don't want to be one of them. So I haven't looked at that and went, oh, I can't wait to do it. But when I heard them talk about that and the algorithms and the technical reasons behind it, I thought, oh, I get that. Now I can see. And I think it's smart for us to be looking at ways to take advantage of the free ways that we can get our voices out there and get and let people know about us. And to use it through that conversational way, I thought that was wise. I like that in each one of those segments. Jen, I thought you did a great job hosting these. How fun. And I certainly had a blast talking with you also. And yeah, we could just go on for hours, and I'm so taking you out, and we are going to hang, and it's going to be a good time.
For as tiring as it was, talking to everybody at the level they were, and as I mentioned, none of these, it wasn't me and them having 30 individual 1 hour conversations. All of them were mostly at least 2 hours. So there was talking beforehand, some technical, like making everyone feel comfortable, and some after, like talking business. Like Scott was the very first one. I was like, are they all going to be like this in this level?
Oh man, you got spoiled. He was your first interview.
He was my first time. I got
hilarious.
so lucky on that. So lucky.
Yeah.
But afterwards, him and I were talking, like, what are the other speakers, stuff like that. And I was like, we're trying to bring on Wes. Now, we couldn't get Wes. Wes was in the wildfires, and I can assure you I was the last priority on his list. But it's like, hey, can you connect me to Wes? Oh, hey, you're doing this, and you're an active campaign consultant? I know a guy. Let me connect you with this guy. And so, yeah, they were a lot of fun. Just sitting down, and I think Teresa and both Jeff Klein talked about the importance of partnerships and what happens when you do partnerships. And so this was a perfect example. I didn't just narrow it down. I'm a marketer. I didn't say, I don't want to talk to any other marketers. Susan and her. I saw them as partners, and we sat down as partners, and the business that came out of it or will come out of it in 2008 alone, regardless of all the wonderful nuggets and the information, I think the partnerships and the friendships are by far the best part.
Yeah, one of the, that triggered another nugget that I got from Scott, which was, again, early on, so I've actually watched yours probably 3 times now, so just because you
Who's your
were
fan?
in the mix. But the other thing is, Jenna asked him right out of the box, what's it like to be on stage with these people? And what Jenna just described to you is what he said when he said, it's not what's on stage, it's what happens backstage. And the thing is, one of the nuggets that I got out of this entire exercise is the associations and the real life connections that you make with people when you're laboring for something worthwhile, like a summit, to hopefully bless a bunch of business leaders. And then you kind of, for that moment in time, do life together through a process, whether it's you're the interviewee, or you're just speakers on the same journey there. you can't build those depth of relationships, and you'd be amazed at how deep those relationships go. And if you're just backstage with them for 20 minutes, right, Scott? I've done the same thing. People that I considered close friends that I haven't seen for 15 years, but we spent 10 minutes on backstage talking and prepping, and through a point probably high stress, or high excitement. And so that was that's another powerful nugget that you
I'll give you
left.
a prime example of that is I did an event down in Orlando early in December, and Bob Sircosta was there from Home Shopping Network. And unfortunately, the event didn't go well. There were some things. So when he got on stage, what he was really wanting to accomplish, he had a hard time accomplishing. Had nothing to do with him. He did a great job. It was kind of the seminar had a little faux pas in it.
Happens.
Yeah, it happens, right? And so he came off stage, and I was standing there. I said, Bob, I said, first of all, you were awesome. It's a shame that you didn't get the audience that you deserved, but dude, you're fabulous. And he goes, yeah, but I needed some products. And I said, what kind of products? He goes, any. He goes, do you have any idea how many shows I have to fill? I said, are you serious? And he said, absolutely. I said, well, I have 3 products that I can share with you. He goes, you got 3? No, they're not mine. I've got 3 separate friends that have products. He goes, will you do me a favor and submit those for consideration now? So literally, we've got 3 products in play at Home Shopping Network because of what happened backstage. So that's the point, is what you find out is everybody has challenges, everybody has needs, everybody has wants and desires. But what do you do with it, right? But if you're consistently in that mode of being of service, which is this is what Dave and Jenna put this together for.
And you have a vision.
And you have a vision.
Amen.
Or vision vandals that you need to get rid of.
Right?
Let's throw the other side in, there's a great program for that. But the point is that's where you learn this stuff, is if you're in the mode and you're listening and you're coming from a place of service. I'm getting nothing, but I've got 3 friends. I got 4 friends now that kind of like me.
I like you too, Scott.
Thanks.
Oh, now you got 4.
I'm all the way to 5. This is
You
awesome.
just, in my opinion, you just talked about what I'll call real network.
Oh yeah.
Not 30-second elevator pitches, not give me a referral slip.
Yeah.
And the industry that I came from, that's how we did it. You got the things you had. There was always alcohol involved, but you talked about.
That's what we're missing.
And somebody would say, "Yeah, I got a problem," and somebody say that again, and then they'd go off in the corner and they solve something together and figure something out. That's what's missing from the networking things. These things are too formalized, and I think the other thing that I have to say is, and I looked at it from being an engineer, and looked at this from a technology perspective.
By the way, Brandy does that all the time,
Yeah.
catches every single one of my flaws, and I love him
That's
for
right.
that, and
But-
sometimes I want to pull my hair out for that.
But I got to tell you, I was so over the top impressed with how well this was put. I couldn't do this. How well it was put together, how well it came off, even some of the flaws. I thought they were attacked with humor, and people were calm and they got taken care of. I don't think there's a networking group that I know in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that, in my opinion, could pull off what you two pulled off. So
I'd agree with that, and I get around to a bunch of them. I would agree. The professionalism of this event. That's why, again, am I trying to sell you here? Yeah.
Wait, what did you call yourself? The dancing monkey?
Yeah, I'm just a dancer. Yes, I did. Thank you.
I had asked a few people what that meant. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't
I don't want
realize.
to see you dance either.
Give me the.
I kind of do.
You're absolutely right.
It's my fun house,
This-
remember?
This is why it's really funny. One of the reasons I come to these, and I don't necessarily ask for anybody or whatever in my 30 seconds, is it's really kind of irrelevant at that moment. What's relevant is creating the relationships in the room. And it's simply a matter of what challenge do you have, how can I be of service? From a training standpoint, the first question I encourage people to ask is, if you could improve one thing in your life, what would it be? Because that's going to lend to our entire conversation. If I truly care about somebody and truly care about building a relationship with them, that one question puts me on the track to be able to do that. And so again, this is, even when Dave and Jenna want to put something like this together, my first question was, who do you need to meet? Who don't you have? Who can I help you get?
Which, by the way, ended up being awesome because you gave me Sean,
Right.
which he was awesome. He talked about head trash and he kept on saying this name, Noah St. John, Noah St. John.
Right.
Sounds so familiar. And like in mid-conversation, I was like, I know Noah, but I know him I just know him personally from marketing groups. And so I was like, I'm not ignoring you because I feel like you're trying to look people in the eye while you're talking on these things. I was like, let me go just ask Noah if he wants to jump on the call. And I thought Sean was going to fangirl just a little bit. He's like, really?
Yeah.
Apparently Noah's like a pretty big deal. I think one of his key points was he's been really published, not self-published, but really published over the last 25 years by pretty much every major publisher out there. With real, not Amazon bestsellers, which, not to knock Amazon, that's cool too, but like New York bestsellers, right?
Speaking of Noah St. John, can I give my one nugget from him? Are you a wantrepreneur or an entrepreneur? We have a lot of people who, entrepreneurs have a goal, have a vision, and keep moving towards it no matter what. Entrepreneurs want what somebody else has, but aren't willing to embrace the vision and keep moving towards that goal, even though we all know it. So I thought, he had a lot of
good stuff.
A lot of
mentor.
We all have a lot of head trash.
That was a great.
Well, apparently that's his word.
Right.
It's one of his big
Well,
words.
he claimed it. I'm not sure.
Well, he's been doing the internet thing for since the internet kind of started, kind of along with Lee Thurburn, who was one of the first people to sell you internet. But he's not even on the main page because he came in, it was so late in the game. It was just like, hey Noah, I've got this thing, do you mind doing it?
Right. But that's another.
And that's started with Scott at
That's
the very
another
beginning.
nugget that you can take away, having now put together, having 50 speakers or whatever on Fridays for this. One of the things I've learned from everybody that I've reached out to is it's very quick. The people that aren't the big deals aren't a big deal. They basically are a big deal, but they're not that in their own mind.
No.
They're very much real people who will serve any way you want them to, just like Scott said, and they will respond.
They
It's
don't
the people
balk.
who the entrepreneurs or the wannabes that put up these barriers and don't do that. But the people like Scott, people like Susan, Randy, others, Jenna, everybody here that serve, and all
Well, I
of you
think
in the
our
room,
members I had to
you know.
persuade. So the people who didn't think, and that I guess that goes back to head trash with Noah and Sean. Do you think, and Teresa too, do you think you deserve it? So there were people that I had to persuade, nobody wants to listen to me. And I'm like, no, Teresa, no, Randy. Our membership, I was like,
Absolutely.
David's talking about aspiring leaders. Part of that is speaking. It's getting in front of and sharing your legacy and talking about, what you know and giving that to other people. Let's just do it. Well, I don't know the technology. I'll figure that out. But the lighting looks bad. No one cares. Just going through. I don't know what to name my title. Fine. You're a member. Come to our Monday meeting. We will hash out a title. This is the least of the concerns.
This
Just
summer,
come
if it's-
do it.
If it's a testimony.
The
to
big
anything-
deals
Yeah.
didn't even flip a switch. They were like, oh,
Turn it on.
I get a platform? Let's go. Can we do it now?
Right.
I'll do it
And
driving
today,
my car.
With the technology today, you can do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, David's done it from
Let's
his
do it
car.
again.
He worries about
This
me.
one's almost over. Let's do it again.
The one thing you didn't get in time I was on a video call yesterday, and my cat came up on the desk and walked in front of the camera. Fortunately, he didn't do that during my talk.
Well, let's just go through the camera oopsies. During Gretchen's talk, so during the 2 weeks that no one decided to film the first 2 weeks that I was trying to get them to film in. Now, they waited, or they postponed it, or they changed their schedule. So what 2 weeks does it land in? When I have my kids out of school and my daughter's watching them, because I was like, I'm going to give you the money instead of someone else, and we're going to work, she's whatever. So I'm filming Gretchen, and Gretchen's kind of like happiness and how, bringing up your self-esteem and that sort of thing. And right at the end, my 3-year-old just burst in, jumps in my lap in her, house clothes. It's like, nah! So then we had that. My son broke in during Shown, which is another marketer, but I actually put him on sales because he talked about a sales process that was, I know Randy's like, you get too complicated for me. You're getting too complicated. You could print it out on your desk and just say, I'm putting 10 people in today, and just follow those 10 people for 10 days. Put 10 more people in, put 10 more people in, do that for an hour each day.
If you don't even have a CRM.
No
you
CRM
need to
on
go
paper.
to
Shown
Snow Days video and look at his link, download his PDF.
And don't get me wrong, Shown can get complicated. That's an
Right.
Infusionsoft guy, and I'm kind of masterminding, coaching. He's more of a coach to me at this point. In the morning with him, and he opens up Infusionsoft, and I'm like, dude, none of y'all would do that. Maybe
No,
Susan, maybe
I
Scott.
count on you. I want you. I'll use you if you know it.
But I see his complications. I know how hard that is, but he broke it down in a way that you could do it on paper. So,
People make stuff way too hard.
Yeah.
but Shown really broke it down, and he broke it
No,
down.
I look forward to watching that one. But the reality is that there are plenty of systems out there right now that are so stupid simple. And here's the reality. A 7-year-old can mentor a 10-year-old. How can that be? Because a 7-year-old knows something a 10-year-old doesn't know. How many of you are older than 10? Then that would say that you are also qualified. There's an area you would not be doing what you're doing. You would not be living at this time. You would not be here. God's plan and timing is perfect. If you get asked to present something, do it. Because you are an expert in you. There's one thing I will never be. I will never be David. But David will never be
Thank goodness,
me.
because I cannot handle 2 Davids.
Well, there was no value judgment in the statement.
That's why you need a David.
But that's
David, you need a Scott.
But that's
you need a Jenna.
that's the point. Is you all have tremendous genius. And
You have a
and
story to tell.
You don't have little genius. You have tremendous genius. And the fact of the matter is, once you understand that, there's not an arrogance. It's not even a confidence. It's a I am who I am, and there's nobody else on this planet who has had the set of life experiences you have had. There's not one. And so the fact of the matter is, your ability to be of service. It's one of the things I talked to a coaching client one day. Is this about fame or is this about impact? Well, it's about impact. Good. So if you wrote a book and you only sold one, you'd be okay. Oh, no, that'd be terrible. No, I'm not done yet. But you sold the book to the person and it turned them into the next Mother Teresa. Would that be okay? Well, that'd be fabulous. So is that fame or is that impact? Well, that's impact. What happens if you go after impact, fame has the possibility of showing up. If you go after fame, it's fleeting, and more than likely you won't create the impact. Do you understand there's somebody waiting for your story right now? You have something, and who are you to be so selfish to keep it within you?
Right.
I got something to back that up in total agreement. One of the reasons that I do what I do is growing up in a family business and recognizing the wisdom of my father after 50 years of business, raising us all to hear those things. And I used to tell him back when everybody was using social, Dad, I wish you'd put that out there. My sister and I started getting into marketing primarily because we loved that and we wanted to see him succeed in it. And, oh, Dad, that's brilliant. We knew our customers by their last name and their street name. And everybody knew what was going on and how we could help them and how we could serve them. How do you move from one area to another, and pick it up? And if he'd have saved it, that would have helped generations starting those businesses.
Exactly. Think of this one statement. If you're going to write anything down, this is a writer-downer. who are you benefiting by playing small?
Yourself. Not even yourself.
You're not benefiting yourself by playing small. The fact of the matter is we all have greater genius, we all have greater opportunity, we all have unique talents, we all have unique capabilities. There is something in somebody you can add to every minute of every day. It is a choice whether you do that or not.
I will say that can be scary. So it's not that you're not benefiting yourself at all. You're saving yourself from fear and embarrassment. You're afraid that someone's going to say something, look at you. Someone's going to tell you, poor Jeff over here, I put Klein after his name in the email. Love you.
Who was the one that said she in the paragraph?
That was for George Henley.
Yes.
I left the word her in there.
All right.
But you're just saving yourself from fear. And don't get me wrong, like since we rebranded in March, and we've put ourselves out there a little bit more each month, and a lot of that's on me because I'm the introvert. I'm the one that doesn't like all the eyes looking at me like this right here, right now. Then people do judge you and they look at you, but it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. And when people do say something, let's say negative, they're either an asshole, and assholes happen, or they're trying to help you. It's like Randy going, I really don't like how you do that. I'm like, okay, Randy. I know Randy loves me. Or David, like, we won't drop the F-bomb. What the hell is this? Oh, you know what? I messed up with my email. I meant to automate it, meant to fix it. Instead I ended up having to film so-and-so twice. In fact, I still haven't told Yaroon that his filming did not go right, and he had one of those simple products that would benefit everyone. So all you can do is when you screw up and someone says something, and that's that feedback you're afraid of, just say, look, I'm human, let's fix it. So that's what I'll do to him. So when you talk about playing small, you're only doing it because you're afraid, which A, isn't sexy or attractive to anybody. You're not going to attract any clients by being afraid. They can smell that. And it's just never as bad as you think it's going to be.
And how much did he pay for it?
Well, and the other side of that is, by a show of hands, very seriously, how many of you have ever tripped in your life?
Oh, man, more than once.
Okay. Also, by a show of hands, how many of you plan to trip? Well, wait a second.
Wait, basketball?
If you didn't plan to do it, but you did it, why is it embarrassing? It's not, unless you choose to make it embarrassing. We're choosing to be offended in this country right now. We're choosing to take this crap, and I'm not getting, that's just a very simple statement, and all of a sudden giggles come out and stuff start to go. Guess what? Those are all choices.
Yes.
Well,
The choice is to be here, the choice is not to be here. The choice is to watch this and execute this or not.
Execute.
Execute.
This was learning week. Go execute.
Right. One of the things you just triggered for me was another aha takeaway, and he's not here because he was coming to us from Atlanta, Georgia, is Doug Grady.
Yeah.
And you say, choose powerfully is one of the things he says. Is we all make choices, and then his program of the ripple effect and 40 days of focus really is the root. As I shared, I popped in for a minute and messed up their video when Doug was on.
But
there.
you learned. You
But-
made a mistake. You tripped.
Yeah.
You bought a
And
microphone.
But I learned.
Yay!
But the deal was, if it wasn't for his 40 days of focus that I met him here, that led to me, the Vision Warrior, Survive and Thrive in the Zombie Apocalypse. That led to the book because I started journaling every day, and all of a sudden realized that one decision to do that every day. Then it didn't seem so hard to think I could publish a book by the end of September.
Not just his book, though.
Right.
For Business Growth Network, it helped us hone, what is our process? What is the customer value journey we want to send people through? It lacked focus. It lacked
And
clarity. We couldn't explain it. And he did the zombie presentation, and we're sitting at the office on our Monday meeting, and I'm like, nobody wants a vision. Zombies are cool, though. What if you did a quiz, are you a zombie?
Yeah, so we had a zombie.
And so you go from the quiz, and then you
What's
go...
your most famous quote?
What?
What's your most famous quote?
My most famous quote?
About vision.
Nobody wakes up in the morning wanting a vision.
Right. I think that's great.
And that goes, nobody wakes up in the morning, I'm going to turn the camera on you, wanting to have, pesticide all over the lawn. However, when the rat gets in their garage and dies and stinks, you do want the rat gone, and you want all future rats gone. So you don't want the pesticide, but you do want the rats gone. So nobody wants the vision, but they do want to double their business, and clarity is how they're going to get that. Or it's usually a big problem.
Bottom
So-
line is nobody wants any of the products any of you have,
What?
especially yours.
We love you, Sim.
No, the fact that this is, if you would really understand this, they want the benefits derived by the products that you have. But we focus on the features, advantages, and benefits. We focus on our widget is better than somebody else's widget, and my company's better than somebody else's company, and my this.
No one cares.
BS, bad strategy. The only thing that anybody cares about is how this is going to benefit them in the long haul. You're all quality of life merchants. Your task is to improve the quality of life of the person that you're talking to.
Their status in their average day.
That is exactly what it comes down to. And so, again, I'm honored by having the opportunity to share thoughts. But my statement to my mentors has always been, give me everything you got and I won't keep it. I'll share it with the people I have the opportunity to share it with. If we would all create this cyclone of good, right? If we would just show gratitude, just love on people, just be of service to people. How can I help you in your point of need? Well, I don't need anything. Sorry, you're human. You need something.
Well, a small thing. So, like inside, I was working on, as I said, not all the speakers were professional speakers, right? Some of them I had to really push and prod, and one of them was Teresa. Was it Teresa? Yeah. So when she put everything in there for her speaker bio, she's not a speaker. She's not a professional speaker. She doesn't have this 6-paragraph thing about all her books and all the things she's done. She's just like, oh, I've kind of been a nurse for a while, and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, we're gonna take this and we're gonna make it a little cleaner. I need it cleaner because I want to make her look good, right? She's one of our members. I especially want to make her look good. And so I went and threw it on our member site, and I was like, can y'all help me? David's wife, Cheryl, is not a marketer. She's not a copywriter. She works for some marketers. She wrote a beautiful one,
awesome.
pretty quick, and just whipped it out. She's like, what about this?
Yeah.
And then, I can't remember who it was. Somebody else said, well, what about this one? And so, it was Rayanne. Rayanne was the one that was working on. And Teresa chimed in, and Cheryl chimed in, and then Teresa came in. That you don't have to be super hyper, Bill Gates or whatever brilliant.
No.
You just have to help somebody with a little something. That could mean a lot to Rayanne moving forward. She was really nervous about doing it, but I think having that little extra bio really helped her. And Cheryl turned it around like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Well, our thesis is the power is in the network.
Yeah.
It's not in not in any one person. It's not in me. It's not. We're all just part of the network, and so we really are. That's part of the matrix. That's the basis of
Plug in.
the Business Growth Network. One of the things that, by the way, for anybody that's in network marketing or in multi-level or direct sales or anything else, that's where Teresa comes out of, and she has some really great nuggets. in
She's
her talk.
legit. She's not like, oh,
Yeah.
I copied someone.
She's got a 6-digit
She works for an
income
hour a week.
in a network
I'm sorry, hour a
marketing
day,
company.
and kills it.
Yeah. So, again, they're best principles, best practices. I will tell you from coming across industry and everything else, my personal philosophy is that the principles go across everything, and practices within industries you can benefit from learning how different industries practice. So it really is, there's no magic there. Everybody puts those limitations on. But that's kind of your mental model, I got to hear somebody who's in network marketing, then you need to go and listen to Teresa's talk, Jenna's talk, which was today, which is still live right now, so you can get it today or tomorrow.
And some of the talks, it's not like I worked them together on purpose. It just, again, once you start, poor Scott, I felt like the worst for Scott because he was the first one. I had nothing to compare it to. I didn't know what anybody else was going to say. As Dave was like, you've got a seat and you got to cross talk about one each other. I'm like, okay, because it's hard enough to talk on these people. But I did Jason Troy's twice because the first feed something happened on my computer. That happened a couple times actually. But his talk, his Cards Against Mundanity, is to help build culture
Right.
inside of a company, or even in your own family. It's
Even
not
inside this networking.
inside this networking group. And then we talked to Mark Sinclair, who, he's not the dynamic personality that some of the speakers are, and it seems really boring. And his software, SparkChart, which is actually what I use to get everyone's information for the thing, it's meant to get feedback from your company. So the idea is a large company, like let's say they have 30 employees and you need feedback, you send this out and you can start getting numbers back. And I was like, well, dude, if you combined ActiveCampaign, which automates things, so business owners are busy, right? If you took ActiveCampaign at $9 a month and you built a basic automation loop that, let's say, once every 3 months, it ran this feedback chain, and then you turn around and you got SparkChart and you inserted that open link so that you could constantly be getting feedback from your employees or even your clients. I would recommend 2 different ones. And then you added that Cards Against Mundanity game, and you just sat down and ate pizza and drank some soda or sat in a room eating breakfast. Less than $1,000 a year could be game-changing in your corporation. It's something
Right.
that Google, I think Jason was saying Google is the one that did all the research that says this works, and one employee turnover was like 3 times the cost of their salary. So if you have minimum wage employees at, let's say, $20,000 a year, and the turnover for that is $60,000 a year, and $1,000 in ActiveCampaign, SparkChart, and a free game of Cards Against Mundanity, and you just need some pizza and drinks and time. If that could bring up your business so your employees love you and want to serve your people, that's the kind of things that partnerships can do.
All right, we're getting close. We're going to have to land the plane pretty quick here. So this has been really good.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
before we
please.
start? I just wanted to shout out to Jeff over here, because we've talked before, and I've known him for a couple of years, not well, just from a distance, and we've had a couple of good conversations. But like Jenna was saying when she interviewed him, boy, I wish I could just get more of this information. I'm so thrilled that you recorded that, and you recorded it in a conversational manner, because I intend to go back to that over and over till I understand it well, because I'm more likely to jump in then. I love what you're doing. And anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we really captured that. The video recording gives me an opportunity to go back and learn something I need to know.
One of the things we wanted to do was just whether you decided to go to the summit or not, we wanted to share some nuggets. And I know just listening to Scott talk and just some of the things that have been shared already.
Were the nuggets helpful?
Hopefully it was valuable to you just for being here. The other thing I'm hoping that has maybe piqued your interest to go look at a couple of these videos that'll be available online tomorrow. We're doing a special encore, so literally every speaker that I just listed there.
Remember all my oopsies? This is like to make up for all
This is
my
kind of
oopsies.
makeup. We're gonna, because we wanted everybody to at least have a crack at it for free, and then the Business Growth Network Insiders, well, there's the special deal is that for $97 you can get, for a year, you can be part of the Business Growth Network and have access to all these videos and all the templates and everything else we already have that we've been building over the last 18 months in the back office. So I can tell you for 110% certainty that there's no place else you're going to get that much content for that kind of value. In fact, I've gotten advice, as I told Jenna, and Jenna has too, that we're not making it expensive enough because people tend to they discount it and they don't do with it what is part of the thing is. Scott told you the value of what was put into pulling the summit off. The problem is because it's free, a lot of people treat it for what they paid for it, which is they don't do it. And our whole design, there's nothing we do in the videos that will work for anybody if you don't execute. If
Some
you
of
don't
these
do it.
speakers for 1 hour is 4 and 5 figures.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not. This is not a hard. I just really want. I mean,
I was shocked I got them. This is not me trying to be impressive to y'all. And I was like, I asked some of these
Yeah.
people and they said yes. I was like, oh my God.
yeah. She kept emailing and saying, "Do you know I got that?" I said, "Yeah, that's good." You know, it doesn't surprise me. You're very impressive, Jen. Everybody wants to be interviewed. No, it was actually very good. Any other questions
And a
or
different outfit
any other thoughts?
every day.
The one thing I will tell you.
Hairdo
I
every day.
filmed them over 30 days. Please, like, what are you going to wear? Be like Mark Zuckerberg and wear a black hoodie every day?
So if you haven't done it already, if you're not already getting emails for this summit, to get the special encore tomorrow, you're going to go to businessgrowthnetwork.org/summit. Okay? Is that clear enough? businessgrowthnetwork.org/summit. Now, I'm going to give you one other link that you don't have to write anything other than what comes after the slash. The other link is /VC, businessgrowthnetwork.org/VC, because if you don't get to my presentation or whatever, which is the last one of the summit where Jen and I are talking, is that the Vision Challenge, the new rendition of the Vision Challenge, launches on Monday. And that also is free. And if you really want to get clarity on your unique reason, your unique vision, and your unique value, so that you can have 100% certainty that you're focusing going forward on your core, then take the Vision Challenge if you haven't done it already. And frankly, Randy will probably do it again. No, you've taken everyone so far. I will do it again, because every time I go through my own
I
process,
still don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
every time I go through the process, I'm at a different place and I'm refining it. So
Well, it
those
changes.
Those are two
Every
free.
day.
Those are
Yeah, it
two
does.
free things to anybody watching on Facebook Live
refines.
or anybody here that you can avail yourself to the extent that you want. And I can tell you, what you put in, you'll get multiples out. I can guarantee that. Of course, multiple
As ye
zero
sow,
is
so
infinite.
shall ye reap.
Yeah, so we planted some seeds. So any other questions? We have our regular
Feedback. Any
feedback.
feedback or things you would like to know for the next one?
I don't think you mentioned shiny object once in the entire thing. At least I can't. I would have picked it up.
No, she didn't.
You did?
No.
No, I didn't think so. I was impressed.
Well, that was not the focus. The
I know,
focus
that's
for
your
this
favorite
was
word.
learning. And so, you know,
I'm just-
when we talk about Vision Challenge, I think shiny object syndrome is a big deal. We go to marketing strategy, shiny object syndrome is a big deal. The idea of the summit was to, I think that you cannot live a life you do not already know exist. So the idea with the summit was to bring information, people, examples, ideas that you may not have already known, or maybe you needed reinforced or told again, like anything motivational, so that when you go into the Vision Challenge next week, you can take those ideas and those things you need and put them into that future vision, so you can imagine, so you're not thinking small, as Scott said, so that you do think bigger and shoot for the stars, and if you fail and land on the moon, darn.
Networking, as we've talked about before, isn't what you get, it's what you give. And so when I say the wins in networking, it's what have you been able to contribute? I didn't just attend, first of all, you got to be there. But then, hey, I introduced this person to this person. I made a referral here, and this guy got some business. It could